Today we're talking about going without food. Yes, making the choice not to put food in your mouth. It's called fasting. I want to cover it today, so let's roll the intro.
This is the game of food. This is the game of food. We're helping real people get real results with delicious food. Real food. Live from Spencer's home studio, podcasting to the world. This is Game of Food. And here's your host, Spencer Frederick.
So I don't know how many days ago I put a question on social media. I'm like, hey, who here has fasted? How long did you last? And I mean 0 calories, because sometimes people will tell me that they do fasting, and I'm like, what'd you have this morning? Protein shake. I'm like, that doesn't count. You have to have 0 calories or very tiny amount of calories. And just to be safe, why would you have any calories if you're trying to fast? You should just have 0. So I posted this and I got comments like 16 hours, 20-hour fast, 24. A couple people, not many, said 72. One guy said like 5 or 6 days, and then I was surprised one person commented that their friend or husband or something did an 11-day fast. All of those are pretty cool, and I think they are neat accomplishments. But what I was surprised at was some people commented, and they said, hey, tell me more. Should I be doing this? And then I was like, hey, should I do a podcast then about this? And a couple different people were like, yeah, you should. And then I even got a message about it, so I'm like, all right. I'll do a podcast about fasting. I've done it. I've done some longer ones. I've done the intermittent fasting. And so I want to talk about my experiences. I might cover some of the benefits and the negative side effects and stuff like that, so that you better understand, what the heck fasting is. So you have two different fasts, I should say. You have intermittent fasting. That's like a nutrition program. And then you have the longer fast, which if you want like biceps and abs, or you want to lose your stomach for summer, you don't need to do a multiple day fast. No, you don't need to do that. And so intermittent fasting, you have different eating windows. You fast for 16 and you can eat for 8 hours, or 20 and 4, or 24, every 24 hours you can eat. That's called OMAD. That's 1 meal a day. And I've done all those. I did intermittent fasting for like 3 years. I did intermittent fasting every day for a while, every single day of my life. And then there was a time period where I did it, 2 to 4 days every single week. Typically it was on the weekends to try to control my weekends, which let me tell you, it actually didn't help me control my eating on the weekends, but I'll never go back to intermittent fasting. Now, I don't think intermittent fasting is one of these annoying fad diets that you hear me talking about all the time, but I do think people think it's like magical, like secret answer, and it's not. It's not at all. What you're doing is trying to limit your calories by skipping meals, and that is it. You're trying to limit calories by skipping meals. Now, everybody's like, oh, wow, yeah, but look up all the benefits of fasting, to your organs, to your energy, to everything like this. Okay, what I also want you to do, because those benefits are actually true, at least I think they are, also look up the benefits of just being in a calorie deficit, meaning you don't have to fast at all. You could eat all day as long as you're in a calorie deficit. Look those up. Oh, what do you know? Some of them are the same. Some of the benefits are the exact same. So it is just good for your organs to once in a while eat a little bit less. It's not some sort of metabolism booster, I can tell you that. But let's talk about the other side of fasting. So that's intermittent fasting. And I kind of went through my experience with it. And it didn't help me. It didn't help my relationship with food. Actually, the longer I did it, so year 1, I thought it was great. Year 2, I'm like, it's just what I do. Year 3, I started developing a bad relationship with food because I just became focused on breaking my fast. I'm like, I can't wait till 3 o'clock because I get to eat everyone. And people would be looking at me like, psycho. And then it seemed like I was able to just eat more and more in my eating window. So I kept shrinking my window. I started at 8 hours, 6 hours, 4, and then I did the OMAD where I was only eating at 6 o'clock every single day. And my relationship with food got worse and worse. And I was more efficient at eating in my eating window. So I wasn't even like getting leaner, because that was my goal. That's why I was doing intermittent fasting, and I was trying to get leaner. And I was just getting better at eating a ton of food in my eating window. And eventually I didn't have a very good relationship with food. I didn't have like a eating disorder or anything, but it was something I had to correct. And it took me a number of months of just like, why am I binging so hard? Even after I committed to being done with fasting, I'm just like, wow, I am crushing food. Like seriously, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing how much I was binging, every so many days. And so I'll never go back. Now, if you like intermittent fasting, keep doing it. That's partially what I teach. You love it, keep doing it. This is just informative, and I'm giving you my experience. And let's talk about the other side of fasting, the longer fast. So you have to do, if it's a longer one, it has to be a minimum of 2 days, so it's not considered intermittent fasting. I did a 3-day fast. My experience with a 3-day fast was day number 1 was the hardest because I was constantly thinking about food, and you don't realize it, but your day is kind of set up around food. Like on at lunch break, you drive around looking for a place to eat, or you prep. Like in my case, when I did my fast, I was prepping food. So I would meal prep, I'd cook at night, cook in the morning. I was cooking all the time because I wanted to stay on track to my meal plan, and it was a very high calorie plan, and it required a lot of protein and stuff. So I had to bring my lunch to work, and all of a sudden when I did my fast, I was like, I have all this free time. It was lunch break, and I'm like, what do I do with my hands right now? Usually they're shoveling food into my mouth, but now I don't have anything to eat. I'm not supposed to. And there's just all these constant reminders in day number 1 of food. Day number 2 is kind of like hybrid. Like you're still like reminded of food all the time, but you're like, this is a little bit easier than I thought. I thought I'd be like, crumbling. I'd have no energy, and I'd be like calling 911, and it's not the case at all. Day number 3 was magical. I really do think it was magical. I woke up like, you know what? I'm going to be starving for breakfast, and I wasn't. I woke up not thinking of food. I woke up with high energy. I woke up after that night. I had great sleep. What else? I got the benefits of the routine. So like day number 1 and kind of 2-ish, you're like, what do I do at lunchtime? Day number 3, you're like, I'm just going to keep working, or I'm going to do this, or like you can get all this stuff done. It's kind of wild. And so I was like, wow, I thought I'd feel crazy, low energy, but I don't. I feel high energy. And I worked out every single day. I did heavy weights. I was on a heavy weight program. I was really pushing some big weights at the time. I was very strong at the time, and so I was a little nervous, honestly, about lifting heavy weights and fasting for 3 days. Day number 1 and 2, I think the workouts went fine, but they were nothing special. Day number 3, my workouts went really good. And I was very shocked. Now, day number 4 was supposed to be a transitional day, so it was still kind of a strict day. It was a transition into your normal foods, and I was only supposed to have fruit juice only. And I tried to pick natural stuff, nothing with loaded sugar or anything like that. And so I woke up on day number 4 and I had my orange juice, and it was like a switch turned on. I was like an animal ready for more, give me more of that juice. Maybe I can have a bagel and a muffin on top of that with butter all over it. It was like all these thoughts of food came storming back. Now, I didn't give in. I got to work and I got busy, so I think I kind of forgot it. Lunch came around. Now, remember, I'm only supposed to have juice all day. And I had a bunch of fruit. I had 3-4 pieces of large fruit, banana, orange, apple, bigger ones. And I wasn't supposed to have that, but I did, and I felt fine. I'm like, all right. And then after that, I just kept twisting the rules until I was eating normal by supper time. And then on day number 5, of course, I was eating normal. Now, why I stop and talk about day number 4 is because I felt like it wasn't until I actually put food in my mouth that I had all these crazy thoughts of food. Like, what else can I have? What else is in the fridge? Let me just take a gander at the pantry. All these thoughts, let me go check out the what do you call it? The vending machines. Let me go walk by those and see what they have. And there was what? I didn't have many of these thoughts at all over my fast. And then when I put food in my mouth, that's when I had the thoughts. So it gave me a sense of control over food. I felt kind of leveled up a little bit because I've met people that they can't go a couple hours without food without seriously getting mad at people or getting a headache or something like that. And I don't think that's healthy. And so I was like, hey, I'm not that. I can turn on fasting for 3 days. I'm tough enough to do that. And so to answer the questions on if you should do fasting, you don't need to. You don't need to. Intermittent fasting is like a diet program. Longer fasts should be for other reasons, which I'm going to get into why I did the longer fast. The other reasons to do like a multiple day fast are, number one, religious. If you want to grow closer to God, pray more, grow spiritually, or whatever, to your God, whoever your God is, that's a phenomenal reason to do a multiple day fast, because you're taking out the distractions of this world, and food is one of them. Food is one of them. Number two would be like mental toughness. Now, this is a benefit I didn't know I was going to get, but I did get, because I felt accomplished. I did a 3-day fast and literally didn't have a crumb. I had water only. And I felt accomplished. I was like, wow. I felt like I leveled up. And like I told you, I felt more in control of my nutrition after that. Another good reason to do it is for like digestive issues or some sort of healing. Now, that was the big reason I did it, is because I have these flare-ups every, 6 months. Sometimes I can go a couple of years without these flare-ups, and I used fasting as a tool to try to heal and limit some inflammation that I thought I had. I didn't go to the doctor or anything. I just wanted to do it myself, and so I fasted for 3 days for that purpose. Now, doing it for biceps, a multiple day fast, I think is just bogus. And if you look up the benefits of a multiple day fast, organs and energy and all these things, you can get a lot of those benefits by just being in a calorie deficit and eating every day, eating every single meal. You can get a lot of those benefits. So just know that a diet in general, or limiting your food in general, is going to have all these benefits. And I think people just like Google benefits of fasting and they think it's like the ultimate plan or some sort of secret, and it's really not. So do I recommend any fasting at all? For intermittent fasting, no, I don't recommend it. I think following a calorie plan is a little bit better. But if you love intermittent fasting, I really don't think it's like one of those fad things. I really think it is a better option than a lot of them out there. Now, the longer fasts you should not do if you just want to lose your stomach or perform good in the gym or whatever it is. But if it is religious, I think you should do it. If it's for healing, like your digestive system, I think you should do it. Or if you're finding that food is controlling you and you want to be mentally tough and control food, then I think you should consider it. Now, don't jump into a long fast. I think you should practice. Now, did you hear how I did it? I started with intermittent fasting, and I did a 16-hour fast, 8-hour window. I made my window smaller and smaller and smaller so that, when I decided that I wanted to do a longer fast, I had already had a little bit of practice, and I recommend practicing and kind of building up your hours, your fasting hours, so to speak, before you do a longer one. And this will be my last little tidbit, is a lot of people have shiny object syndrome when it comes to diets. And I think a lot of these companies know that. Now, intermittent fasting isn't some company. It's just a way of eating. It's technically meal timing. Okay? But some of these companies know that when you first talk about a new name of a diet, that there's going to be a lot of attention on it. And so that's what I was kind of reminded of when I was like, how long is your fast? How long have you fasted? And I got like quite a few comments. Other people were like, oh, what? Everyone does this? What am I missing out on? And that's what companies do, is they're like, hey, welcome. I call this thing Whole 50. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to name this new meal plan thing where we send you these extremely low calorie meals. I'm going to call it this new name and blast it all over social media. And then people are going like, what's this new way of eating? Listen, there's not any new ways of eating. And there probably hasn't been for a long time. It's people twisting these little rules on food, and it just kind of ends up, similar to something else out there. So don't fall for this shiny object syndrome. I do believe in trying, different things, but please stop looking for that secret. The secret is in balance. The secret is in sustainability. Are you following a plan that complements your life and doesn't take away from your day-to-day things that you want to do, and also produces a result? So that's what I think about fasting. And hopefully that helps. What I am going to do with this podcast, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to do some strategy days. So like tactics, like this was like strategy behind fasting. And then I'm going to keep up with my usual like mindset, like the psychology of food and stuff like that. So I'm going to start doing more of these tactical ones because you guys want them. So you're welcome. And thanks for tuning in. My name is Spencer, and I am out.